One subject that you and I have talked about a lot on this programme over the months and in fact over the years is how we should tackle knife crime. Should it be more arrests? Should it be more stop and search? Should it be longer prison sentences? What about this as a new look at an old problem? What about encouraging young people into sports like boxing and karate? Yeah, put down the knives, pick up the boxing gloves. Well, that's what the Commons Digital, Culture, Media and Sport Committee thinks. They say the government has totally overlooked the importance of sport and cultural activities when it comes to preventing these kinds of violent crimes, knife crimes. So what do you think about that? Are they right if you get young people involved in cultural activities or sporting activities like boxing or karate, they're less likely to pick up a knife? Joining me is Jane Naylor-Jones, who is a karate instructor at Chelmsford Karate Club. It was established in 1967, so it's got a bit of track record there. Jane, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
And what do you think about this suggestion from the Commons Digital, Culture, Media and Sport Committee, that kids might put their knives down if they got involved in something like karate or boxing?
Well, that karate club belongs to the Karate Union of Great Britain, so I think it's an excellent idea. Although what I think would be better is to get them involved at a younger age so that they hopefully learn core values like respect and courtesy and don't get into trouble in the first place, kind of like an early intervention.
Right. What about those people who would say, but surely those things like boxing and karate, they're violent? What would you say to that?
Oh, no, it's not like that at all. If you've ever been to a karate lesson, then you'll know that it's respectful. We teach courtesy, we teach self-discipline, we build confidence, we teach mindfulness. All of those things, it may be about kicking and punching, but it's learning to defend yourself. In karate, you never throw the first punch.
When I've talked to young people about why they carry knives, the line always comes out, well, just to defend myself, just in case. So if they have the sort of skills that your club and other clubs give, would they have the confidence then not to carry knives, do you think?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, if you speak to the police about what advice they give, and we've talked to, one of our members is a senior police officer with the Met, we've talked to him at length about what the advice is, obviously for our own members, and the advice is not to go down that route. The advice is to escape, which is exactly what we would have said anyway. It gives you an idea that you don't want to feel like you're doing karate, so you're invincible. It gives you an awareness, so it's about awareness and avoidance. And then if you have to defend yourself, so be it, and then you escape.
Right, and boxing as well?
I would say with boxing, the discipline, like karate as well, I met some fantastic people from the Chelmsford Amateur Boxing Club and the Sweet Science Boxing Studio last Bank Holiday Monday. And the discipline those guys have is phenomenal, exactly the same as we teach in karate. But it's not just about the moves you learn, it's about giving yourself or giving people, I would say, a structure, a sense of belonging, something to strive for, a sense of achievement. It's not just the kicks and the punches that you do.
Jane, how difficult or easy is it to get through to some youngsters because you've used the word discipline quite a few times, and that was the word that came into my mind when I knew that we were going to be talking, because I know there is a lot of discipline. How easy or difficult is it to get through to some of the, shall we say, more difficult young people?
Surprisingly, the people I've come across appreciate the fact that you are good at what you do. So they appreciate and understand that you know what you're talking about, and they have some kind of respect for that. I've never had anybody answer me back in a class. I've never had anybody give me any trouble in a class. People do as they're told because that's the whole culture of the art.
And knives down, gloves up, what's that?
This is an initiative by a boxer called Paul Kavanagh in London. He says his mission is to save lives, to remove knife crime from the street. He's been working a lot in London, and he's now moving around the country, talking to people about knife crime, trying to encourage the councils, such as people like our council in Chelmsford, to help sporting clubs like ours offer classes to people to get them off the street.
And when you talk to your young people about knife crime, which no doubt you do, what's their reaction?
Well, obviously it's frightening for them because we live in a nice little corner of the country, don't we, really, to be honest?
Yes.
However, I was sitting outside Dovedale Sports Centre not long ago, a couple of months back, with a helicopter going around overhead, and I didn't know what was going on, and somebody had been stabbed 2 streets down. And then, of course, there was the murder in the stabbing in the museum just up the road.
Yeah, yeah.
But people do worry about it.
How do we take this forward? Because it does seem like a very sensible suggestion, and a lot of people are going, nodding their heads and saying, yeah, good idea. How do we take this forward, do you think?
Well, as you know, we were in Chelmsford Town Centre on Bank Holiday Monday with Noise Down Gloves Up. And we were handing out flyers about the early intervention initiative and handing out flyers about the club. And people were interested to talk to us about knife crime. Some people were very concerned about the amount of knife crime. One woman even told me about her son who'd been stabbed in an ordinary a few years back and now suffers from PTSD. I mean, people are worried about it, but they may not necessarily know where to go to find the best boxing club or the best karate club. I mean, look in your local papers, Google search, go onto the Knives Down Gloves Up.co.uk website. And some of the clubs that they were involved in Chelmsford are on there. And if we're not close to, there are other clubs in Chelmsford.
Jane, how old were you when you started?
Oh gosh, it's a long time ago now. I was saying we had just moved. I started karate when I was 7, actually, in Liverpool with my parents. My parents were 2 of the first people in the country to do karate. I think my mum was probably one of the first women. And my asthma was so bad that I literally couldn't cope with an entire lesson. Anyway, we moved south a couple of years later, and my mum just didn't give me an opportunity. She said, "You're going, I need to know you can look after yourself, so you're going to karate every week. And, when you're old enough, you can make up your own mind, but keep doing it." So I've been doing it now for 61 years. Brilliant. Oh gosh, I've just given my age away, haven't I?
No, don't worry. We didn't hear. Jane, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. And keep up the good work. It's fantastic work you do. Jane Naylor-Jones, karate instructor.